Hello and welcome to the Gambling Pals podcast, the podcast that's brought to you by what?
Nothing. Carry on.
Brought to you by 3 premium gambling industry sponsors, and myself, one of your hosts, John Bruford, and your other host, Fintan Costello, who, if you're watching the video edition, you'll know is sporting his winter coat. I don't mean his puffer jacket, I mean his haircut.
This is the Christmas haircut.
Now, but you say that it's your winter haircut, right? But that's going to be there until it grows out. I mean, that's going to be there for about 4 months, isn't it?
The last one I think was like 9 months. Yeah, something like that.
So is it really a Christmas haircut? I mean, is this like
It
the
is.
old Die Hard conversation?
It's been cut in time for Christmas. Like, what's the problem? It's, I look smashing on Christmas morning. That's what it's all about. You ever have to do this? You ever get your Christmas haircut? Get your Christmas outfit? Huh? No, maybe it's an Irish thing. I don't know. Could look good for Santa Claus.
Maybe it's a posh
Baby
kid
Jesus.
thing.
Maybe it's a five. Just fucking was it? No, this is very much a 4-person thing. We're respectable.
What are you getting for Christmas? A haircut. We didn't even get haircuts in my family.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've just had this really awful memory. Like my mum used to have this thing that, it's kind of thing you'd buy in a little tiny advert in a classified section for cutting your hair. And it was sort of like a comb type thing, but you put a razor blade in the middle.
Oof.
And you just kind of ran it through, and it sort of thinned your hair out a little bit. Obviously, it did a phenomenal job with me.
I was going to say,
but
did
that's
plutonium or something in it.
That's what she did it with. But the thing is, oh no, this gets way worse. What she would do is she would use Dad's old razor blades.
Oh no!
So blunt razor blades and basically she would just pull your hair out instead of cutting it. It was just grim. Okay. So I bet your haircuts involved things that were at least reasonably sharp.
Yep, they did.
Posh kid haircuts.
Fair enough. You win. You win the poverty stakes. Oh my God.
Fenton, there was never any doubt about that.
Today maybe, but childhood. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I got some stories.
Yeah. Stories about posh haircuts by the sounds of it.
Using your scissors.
Didn't involve tears.
So fucking...
No, Mum, just let it grow. Please, think of the children. Of course, that never worked. So anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. It's the end of another year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, sure.
Been quite a busy year, hasn't it?
Tell you what, it's blown by. Got a lot done, though. It's good.
Well, I'm glad one of us did.
Yep.
You got any news highlights from the year?
News highlights.
Mm-hmm. My news highlight only just happened.
Go on.
I mean, there's like the good news highlights. Like I think that AI finding antibiotics that will fight MRSA and gonorrhea. I think that's an amazing story.
Because the gonorrhea that got your headline. That's your attention. Was it finally?
It came up in my news feed.
Your Google alert.
You're just jealous because I can spell gonorrhea.
That is true. I would have to Google it.
But it's an amazing story, and obviously AI has been used for quite a while in medicine in various forms, but analyzing X-rays and shit like that. But it is pretty astounding. But my favorite news story came up I think it was last week. So in the UK, it's been announced that it's going to be energy bills are going to go up again, but this time it's to pay for infrastructure improvements. you know, that thing that all the energy companies have been using and not investing in for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard, no word of a lie, I can't remember where this guy was from, but there's somebody, he might have been an energy industry spokesperson. He was on the news and he said, and these aren't the actual figures, but it's pretty close. He said, right, so yes, with these charges, the average household bill is going to go up about £140 across the year. But this will be invested into infrastructure. So actually, it will help people save money. So really, they'll only be paying an extra £30. I'm like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh yeah, we'll charge you that in January. You'll get it back by December. Nope.
Yeah.
It'll be your shareholders that get that. And it's probably
This
all.
is what happens when you privatize critical infrastructure.
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew?
Nobody could have foreseen that one. I had a rant about this. Obviously, you won't be aware of this because you don't listen to the podcast, but Melanie Ellis stood in a few episodes ago, and I had a big rant about privatisation and why it's a really shit idea, and why when you do privatise, you favour your cronies. Because in the UK, the privatisation of rail, one of the rules in the privatisation is that the train companies, and I'm sure this is to do with licenses and expiration and all that shit, but the train companies aren't allowed to own rolling stock. So the train companies can't own the trains.
I have a better example for you if you want.
Hang on. Do you know who owns the trains?
Fucking Richard Branson or something. Anyway.
Barclay Brothers. Exactly. Fucking says it all, doesn't it?
The one I read the other day about it was the UK and Norway have gas fields, and it's basically the same gas fields, right? Norway has this very famous sovereign
Massive
wealth
bank
fund,
account.
the SWF, which is just like the world's largest investor or something like that. It's the big, anyway, fucking insane. And the UK privatized those profits. That was it.
Yeah.
It was just like,
and what does Norway use that money for? Everybody.
yeah.
They use it, they grow it, it's self-sustaining, and they use that to make everybody in the country's lives better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not to mention the fact that they're a century ahead in terms of renewable energy.
That's it.
Fuck's sake. But anyway, I'm not bitter or angry. How are you?
Who do we have on the podcast today, John?
Well, that is a fucking good question, Fintan. So this is a bonus episode, right? It's going out in the same week. It's going out the same week as the Keith O'Loughlin episode, which we both loved.
Yep.
This is another good episode because this is tied in with our Gambling Book Awards. And we've had most of the long-listed authors on the podcast. Mm-hmm. We've got one left after this, I think.
Yeah.
But this one, this is one of the most directly about gambling books that's been submitted to the awards. Because part of the remit for the awards is that it can be gambling adjacent. So Alex O'Brien's book about critical thinking, for example, it's related to poker, and poker runs very firmly through it. But you can't honestly say that the book is about gambling necessarily. But this book is called The Gambler, and it's by Rob Furber, Furber. And it's like, honestly, when I first picked this up, I assumed it was fiction. And I think you probably did the same.
I did, right?
So Rob's book it's actually a memoir, and he's basically spent 20 years betting on really odd shit. But there's a natural path to this because it's also I'm going to read this bit off the back because it's fucking bonkers. Taking his greatest gamble yet, he heads off to provincial Russia in search of romance. We've all been there, Fintan. Having to negotiate cultural barriers, strict red tape, and his own doubts and fears, the chance of this long-distance love affair ending in success looks remote. Can he secure their future together by winning big on Eurovision, or is his luck about to run out? I mean, it's just fucking brilliant.
You know what? I love a romantic. Like I've fucking cheering him on. It's brilliant.
It's a unique book. There's no getting around that. And so yeah, so Rob's our guest and talks us through gambling on Eurovision, and I reveal my big Eurovision winner. And it was a big winner, Fintan.
But also, like, he also does X Factor and Strictly Come Dancing and
Yeah,
all
a lot
the
of the
major ones.
televised stuff, the big
Yeah,
televised stuff,
yeah.
reality TV, but not Big Brother and stuff like that, which I thought was really interesting.
Hmm. It needs liquidity. We asked him about it. He explains it's a liquidity thing, so you need market liquidity. So that's what he does. But yeah, super. Like some of his insight and his blog's brilliant. Like if you want to understand like the importance of, say, white middle-aged women who live in Middle England on Strictly Come Dancing, like they're going to vote for the good-looking white guy type stuff. So like they can shift markets just by sexual preference. Things like this. Like his insights into the into the patterns, voting patterns, is brilliant. But he's also really good at like dissecting the he's like basically the producers are trying to push somebody else through as their preferred winner, so they're kind of like how they're editing and the storytelling and stuff they're doing. So there's a lot of also like decoding in terms of what the producers are doing to try and front run that and things like this as well, which is fascinating.
Yeah, it's very interesting. He's a lovely
Mm.
guy.
I love it. Yeah, he's a lovely guy. Really nice. Really good chat.
And the book's well worth looking at. As I say, it's made the long list, and we announce in a couple of weeks or a few weeks
Good.
the shortlist.
Dun dun dun.
Well, the shortlist, Fintan, is relevant because we are presenting awards to the shortlisted authors and to the winner at the European Casino Awards
We
during
are.
ICE 2026.
We are.
Now, so that's the European Casino Awards, as hosted by Data Team Business Media Limited, publishers of Casino International.
Mm-hmm.
And it's held on the first night of ICE.
Yep.
Which is the Monday, in case anybody's not sure. I think it's quite close to the Grand Feria.
Let me get the. Hang on a sec. Fuck the website.
Holy
It
shit!
is
Live
the
research.
Renaissance Barcelona Fiera Hotel. So yeah, so it's right beside there.
Yeah. So it's close by. You got no excuse for not being there, basically.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll be presenting the award there with the 4 shortlisted authors, and they won't even know until the night.
Dun dun dun.
But interestingly, ICE is organised by Clarion Gaming, who are
One of our wonderful sponsors.
one of our sponsors, yeah. So that's exciting too for us.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited.
ICE is the event of the year, so yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's always been the most international, as I've been saying for years and years and years.
Mm.
But they've taken what it was and made it more.
Yeah.
Somehow. And
Bigger,
I
faster,
was
stronger.
ready to find out. I was ready to be really negative about the Barcelona thing. I was expecting teething. I was expecting issues. And apart from the coat issue and the fact that I didn't have my pass printed, it was fine. Also, when you're doing like faster, stronger, etc., just remember South Park the movie.
I do.
Just go with that. It works for everything.
Talking of ice, who else
Yeah.
will be at ice is one of our other sponsors, Optimove.
Oh yeah.
They always do a good stand. They'll be there in force, showing off their world-leading CRM software.
Yeah. It's good shit.
So
and you can go on there, you can learn about, you can see the demo, you know what I mean?
Learn about positionless marketing, how
yeah.
they're going to solve your shit, make you more money, cut your costs, retain your players better.
Well, I think it's especially in the present climate with so many places monkeying with tax structure. Player retention is going to be absolutely. But it's going to be the number one issue for iGaming next year. It's going to be all about how do we keep their eyes right here. Because I don't think that many operators are going to have money to be throwing into free bets and bonuses and stuff.
It's going to get, well, particularly in the UK, it's going to get a bit squeaky bum time, I think.
Yeah.
As they say.
As Sir Alex Ferguson says. Is he another one of your heroes?
Not really. All right.
Disappointing.
He did a good job, but I wouldn't class him a hero.
Well, he says that you're one of his.
I'm surprised.
I believe he listens to the podcast.
Sure he does.
Do you remember Bob Monkhouse?
I do.
Famous British comedian and TV host. Well, he phoned. I'm sure I've told you this one. He phoned up the publishers that I was working at because he was a big fan of the magazines, but nobody believed it was him, and they left him on hold for hours. They're just like, what the fuck is this guy? There's another publisher I was working for. Fucking, and I definitely told you this. Fucking Iron Maiden phoned.
Oh yeah, you told me this one.
It's like we'd reviewed a DVD and been critical of the sound on it. So they phoned to explain why the sound was the way it was.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, it's very, very cool. But good to know that they were fans. Of course, they probably wouldn't know me if they drove over me. Anyway,
in their branded jet.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It is, and they got their own line of beer as well.
Yeah, I did see that. But you know, as bands go, I'm not sure there's another band that's got branding on the same level as Iron Maiden have.
Yeah, of that era, that genre, they owned it. Like they really leaned into the art.
Well, you're going back over 40 years since the first album, and they've had the Eddie theme on and the Eddie's on the label for the beer and all of that, and that's pretty amazing.
It's an iconic, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else that's done anything like that, apart from Bono wearing his fucking sunglasses indoors.
You know, he's got some sort of eye disorder.
So he says.
Allegedly, yeah. Wanker. Too much wanking.
You can't believe it. I've heard an Irishman diss another Irishman.
Oh no, nobody's like Bono in Ireland for a fucking long time, mate.
Well, I think the key thing is everybody's forgotten where the name Bono comes from.
Bonovox, the hearing
which
aid
means
company. Oh, it's Latin for voice box or something? Good voice, that's it. Yeah.
He's a bit fucking premature with that one, wasn't he?
Up his own fucking arse. Anyway. Sorry, Bono. You're great.
No, you were right first time. But I should just clarify. I've often described Gavin Isaacs as the Bono of the gambling industry. That's not what I meant. That is not what I meant. And in fact,
Wow.
we just recorded Desert Island Discs with Gavin.
Oh, yeah.
And when that is rejuvenated very soon, you'll hear that, because I do say something about Bono being a tosser, having already said that Gavin is the Bono of the gambling industry. So I have
But not
to
in
say
Ireland. You're the Bono outside of Ireland.
I have to say to him, but you're not obviously you're not a tosser. I mean that other Bono.
Talking of others, we do have a third sponsor.
Have we got a third sponsor?
Can you tell us all about our third sponsor, John?
Oh, Fintan, can I? I
think you can.
Yes, I can. Fintan, what we're talking about here is we're talking about a company that delivers advanced turnkey platform technology to the global regulated iGaming lottery industries with outstanding results.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a company that is powering the world's biggest brands.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a company that is geared towards solving the biggest challenges of operators.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a business that takes your business to the next level.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say, Fintan, that with these bad boys, everything is possible. Who are they, Fintan?
Optimove. Oh, no. Oh,
oh you fucking twat.
That's it. Fuck it. Renewal cancelled. Shred the podcast.
We've lost them both.
I fucking lost everybody.
EveryMatrix, Fintan.
That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I bet you were sitting there thinking, must have said Optimove. So I think when you throw a stick for a dog, you're like, I better not throw it into that trick.
Oh my God.
For fuck's sake.
This is why I need to bring in experts like EveryMatrix, because clearly I'm not capable. I need support.
I'd love to disagree now. I could tell you a really tragic story now, but I'm not going to, because it'll bum people out that are listening. But it's similar to you saying that, because I think you were probably saying that thinking, John will jump in. He'll say, no, Fintan, you're doing great. But no.
No, hang me out to dry, John. Hang me out to dry. Throw me under the bus.
Humbleweed.
Throw me under the bus.
You're like Mo Salah to my Liverpool.
Just... That's a topical reference. But yeah, blame it all on me when they're complaining.
Yeah, totally. Well, they've got ears. I mean, the other 51 episodes where it's me, they'll forget that in the light of this shameful installation.
Look, it's always a game of what have you done for me recently, right? Nobody's going to remember 50 episodes ago. It's going to be the last couple ago.
Yeah, and you've really...
We don't edit either, so it's just fucking, that's it, ride or die.
When they don't renew, I'm just going to be like, oh, Fintan, I'm so disappointed in you.
Live by the sword, die by the sword, John. It's fine.
It's our life, Fintan. That's how we roll.
It is.
But you know what, Fintan?
The game is the game, yo.
We live by the sword together, and we die by the sword together. You killed me, you fucker. No, just kidding. So, beautiful sponsors, all three of them. Magnificent, virile, fertile, and beautiful. And their support makes this very possible because, we couldn't spend the time scripting this if we didn't have their support. And if nothing else, Fintan, we've proved that today it's scripted.
100%.
What?
I was joking.
Right. So, Rob Furber, Gambling Book Awards. For more information on the awards, www.gamblingbookawards.com, and enjoy the episode. So, in another bumper edition of the Gambling Files podcast, we're joined by an author of one of the books submitted to the Gambling Book Awards, the inaugural Gambling Book Awards. And this one, well, you won't be surprised to know that I've got the book in my hand. It's here. We're joined by Mr. Rob Furber, author of The Gambler. Rob, hello. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me on, John, and Fintan.
It's all right. So, pleased to have you here. Now, your book, right? I don't know. I'm not sure where to start with this because it's memoir. Yes?
Yeah.
But it's one of those memoirs where people will look at it and they'll go, no fucking way. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think there are elements of your story that people might think, well, I was not expecting that. Could you give us a bit of background about your book, please?
Yeah, I mean, over the last couple of decades, I've been betting on all this wacky stuff like Strictly Come Dancing and Eurovision and all these left field specials bets. And I initially thought, well, I think there's a lot of great material here for a potential memoir. And then coincidentally, really, I took this big gamble in my personal life on romance with this mysterious woman from Russia. And the way the gambler plays out, I end up needing the big win at Eurovision to act as her UK sponsor and for us to be together to live in the UK. So the against the odds love story is really the beating heart of the gambler, I would say. It sort of gives it, the narrative thrust, if you like. And then, as part of the book, it's all these incredible stories from the front line of Eurovision trading, and like I was saying, all the crazy TV betting that I've done and miraculously somehow managed to forge a living from.
So, you say forge a living from. What do you do for a living, Rob?
I'm a journalist, so I've been working as a freelancer scarily for over 30 years now. But I've never found it that lucrative, if I'm honest. It's always been a bit of a struggle.
I can relate.
Yeah. And then, again, by chance, reality TV came along. This was sort of 20 years ago now. And I was watching these shows and I had a knowledge of odds. And probably because of my media training, I suppose, I was able to look at them and pick them apart and figure out what they were trying to achieve, which is what it's all about, really. You're just having to interpret the edit. And yeah, my skills have obviously improved over the years. And yeah, this strange niche of TV betting has become, a lucrative breadwinner, you could say, and more so than the freelance journalism.
You say that's a really interesting phrase. Now, I think you said interpreting the edit, because you're figuring out the path that the producer wants you to ultimately follow. Because of course, I mean, in most reality TV, they're going through 24 hours of material of multiple threads to create 45 minutes of viewable not pap. And so I guess if you can get ahead of that narrative, then you're on a winner, I suppose. I'd honestly never thought of it as being an interpretation of the producer's sort of end goal, I suppose. That's a really interesting way to look at it.
And can they, do they, so if we kind of take that, so obviously they're trying to tell a story with the footage they've got, and they've maybe, they've got an idea, we want this person to be our star or their winner. Can they influence it through the edit? Or can they really kind of like decide like this person's going to win, and then we're going to edit it in such a way where they're genuinely going to get the votes to win, or however the reality show works?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're very, very cunning. In the world of TV betting, we call it the dark arts. Everything in their power, we call them the powers that be, to influence the viewer, to vote in a certain way, or not to vote as well, to sort of put a contestant away, and encourage the viewer not to invest in that contestant, not to vote for them. So yeah, there's many aspects to it, and there's so much that they have at their disposal on these shows. I mean, X Factor back in the day was incredible for the dark arts that they used on that show. Psycho, Simon Cowell's production company. I mean, they still do it on Britain's Got Talent. That's never been a show that I've focused on too much, generally because it clashes with Eurovision, which is a really big project for me at the start of the year. But yeah, X Factor was it was a lot of fun, and it encouraged me actually to launch the website entertainmentodds.com. That was back in 2009, doing the TV betting analysis. And there was another gentleman called Daniel Gould who launched a similar website, sofabet.com, start of 2010. And funnily enough, we'd both come from journalism backgrounds, and stumbled upon TV betting, and obviously reality TV was booming with X Factor at the time, and yeah, it takes an analytical mind, I suppose. I mean, I love trying to pick it apart, trying to work out what they're aiming to achieve, and yeah, they're very, very cunning, and they're very, very clever.
One of the, and I'll always find a way to bring the conversation around to horror movies. One of the all-time great zombie series was Dead Set, which posits the theory that in the event of a zombie apocalypse, the safest place you can be is in the Big Brother house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fantastic. I just thought I'd throw that in there because if you haven't seen Dead Set, you should really watch it. But what's like? I'm not going to ask you how the romance turned out because I want people to read your book. And I think it is a really fascinating. I think like great books will take a theme and take an idea, and gambling is a fundamental part of yours, but it's got to have a human heart. It's got to have, like, and I always say this, Fintan, about Michael Lewis. Michael Lewis has a knack of finding the people that illustrate the theme, and he does that really, really superbly. And I think Rob's book has a similar thing in that you've got all these crazy examples of what you do and the website and all of that jazz, but the heart of it all is Rob Furber, the human being who has a noble goal, and I think that's pretty cool. In terms of your TV betting and all that, I've got to ask you this first of all. Do you know Caroline Westbrook?
Name rings a bell. Yeah.
I can't believe you just said name rings a bell. It's like whenever Eurovision's on, she is generally on most sofas on British television because she's a freelance journalist as well. I think she's freelance. Oh no, she might not be freelance now. I think she's on Metro now. She was working for Empire for many years. She was a film journalist, and that's how I met her. But she's a Eurovision expert, and she is very, very good. My other question about Eurovision, though, I like Caroline a lot, by the way. She just brought a book out last year. It was excellent. Anyway, Lordi, when they won, did you back them?
It was before my time, John, believe it or not. I didn't get involved in Eurovision until 2010. And
Shit,
it was
I
because
didn't realise it was that long
I'd
ago.
had the.
I was going to say, Lordy was more than 14 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It was 20 years ago. It was actually probably 18 or 19 years ago.
I'd had the success on the UK shows, and I thought, let's take my skills now into Eurovision. And yeah, that was 2010, my first foray into that. So yeah, Lordy was a good while before that. I mean, I suppose looking back, it had such huge USP, didn't it? I mean, the way they were dressed, the genre, and when you're talking about 25 songs on the night, you've got to stand out, and that's what Lordy
Nailed
did.
that. I had them to win at my local bookies, and the odds were quite long.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't usually get those things right, but that night I did. In fact, I wouldn't ordinarily bet on Eurovision, but they just stood out so much. And yeah, good times. Good. I got very drunk off the back of that. But anyway, sorry, that's by the by. And so, listen, right, your book, right, which is called The Gambler. It's by Rob Furber. Is this your first novel? It's not a fucking novel, is it? Is this your first book?
It is, John. Yeah, I mean, it took me many years to piece it all together, and just redraft it, try and improve the narrative. And you're talking maybe 5 or 6 years. It took me, and then it was obviously quite a task to get the publishing deal. And then miraculously, about this time last year, actually, commissioning editor at Mirror Books, she loved it. I sent her my pitch, and she said, we'd like to offer you a publishing deal. And having been trying for so long, it was an incredible moment, really, because I never thought that day would come. I was even thinking I'd probably have to think about going the self-publishing route, which I didn't, really want to do. And they turned it around very quickly as well. That was the good thing with Mirror Books. We worked on it from sort of start of the year through until about June, and then paperback was published middle of July.
Well, yeah, you saying it was about a year ago that the deal came together, and I'm sitting there with a book in my hand. Like, I've got friends in book publishing, I've got author friends and all that. That's more than fast. So all that drafting and redrafting must have gotten you to a really close point, and obviously being a writer already, but you must have done some really solid work on your own in that time.
Yeah, I worked on it long and hard, and actually when Mirror Books said they'd like to offer me the publishing deal, they said actually they have a track record for being able to turn things round quicker than some of the big publishing houses, your sort of Random Houses and your Penguins or whoever. And yeah, true to their word, there was an editor who got on board there, and there wasn't that much redrafting. You're absolutely right. I'd managed to knock it into really good shape, and then we just had to decide on the title and the subtitle and all the kind of the tweaks that you have to do, and polish it up. So yeah, achievement of a lifetime, really.
Has it been received? I'm going to assume that you've read like Amazon reviews and stuff like that. How's it gone down with real people?
It's gone down really well, I'm pleased to say. I think I've got an average rating of 4.7 on Amazon out of 5. Mostly 5-star reviews. What I'm discovering is, as sort of an indie author, I suppose, if you want to call me that, a first-time author, those reviews are like gold dust. It's so important that you get those reviews, and I think it's a numbers game really with Amazon ultimately, because the more reviews you get, I think it kind of, it edges you up the algorithm or whatever it is that Amazon uses. I mean, it's quite, painful in a way, to sort of talk about these things, but it's the modern reality.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
It's the jury, right? That's the way it works.
For better or worse, but in amongst those 5-star reviews, there's going to be a couple of 1-star reviews that'll be book arrived, cover was torn. Yeah.
There's no tips for this year's Strictly Inside. Furious.
Exactly that. Yeah. This book was a gift from somebody I hate. 1 star. Great. Thanks.
Yeah,
what's your favorite thing to be betting on? Not which one do you get most involved with, but which is the most fun for you as a viewer and an enthusiast?
I would say it is Eurovision, because you get so embedded in it, and amazingly, it will start quite soon for me, around about Christmas time, because we start to get the national qualifiers happening across Europe, and I have to be on top of everything that's going on across all the competing nations. You're talking maybe, well, we don't know yet for next year, but it could be sort of 40 nations competing. And the market's there on Betfair, ready to go. Okay, the liquidity is not great to start with. But I'm always looking to pounce early on. I'm trying to find something, in Lithuania or wherever it is that other people haven't seen yet, because that's my chance to grab maybe a huge price, before, the wider Eurovision audience spots it. And those have been, my biggest success stories over the years trading Eurovision, when I've been able to find one really early in the season and, get matched at the big odds.
Got it. Okay, so part of it is you're on the ground, or you're deep in the weeds early, get good price early, and then you can trade out of it at some point and just lock in a profit. So you don't even have to wait for the event to profit.
Absolutely. Yep.
I was thinking you're just sitting there the night of the Eurovision, just fucking hiding behind the sofa, fuck, everything's on the line here. I was being so stupid about it.
There's still plenty of that, Fintan, I can assure you. They have the 2 semi-finals before the grand final, and I'm usually heavily invested in the to qualify, not to qualify in the semi-finals, and they pull out the envelopes at the end of each semi-final, and I'm hiding behind the sofa here.
Yeah, heart pounding. This is it.
Presumably, you've got to stay on top of things politically as well, and see who's falling out with who and who might be invading who or whatever.
But it's also who's doing, because you see some of the countries, they'll do road shows to neighboring countries and do radio interviews, and which bands are kind of getting after it in terms of trying to drum up votes in other countries, or there must be demographic things as well, like dysphoria type stuff,
absolutely,
the amount of Ukrainians in Poland will boost the Ukrainian Polish vote, or Russians in UK, or so there's a whole just demographic trends and things as well that can do it. And then the Eurovision have changed voting over, you can do multiple votes now, text and stuff like that. So that must have a big impact as well.
I'm just going by what you're saying, Fintan. If Syria qualify, then all bets are off. Which I appreciate as a humanitarian gag. It makes me a terrible person. But just thinking about the way that people distribute in the wake of natural disasters and civil wars and shit like that, it's a really, really interesting point. Because it can shift attitudes both for and against, can't it?
There would have been, I'm sure Rob can tell us more, if you take with the kickoff of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, that must have then just made Ukraine favourites.
Hang on though, Fintan. It depends who you listen to, because as that nice Mr. Trump put it, it was Ukraine's war with Russia. That's how he phrased it yesterday, I think it was.
And I mean, favourites to win the Eurovision, not favourites to win the war.
Yeah, I mean, like you're talking about there, the politics has really taken hold in Eurovision, which is a huge shame, because it prided itself on being apolitical, and obviously we knew, like Russia was like a voting superpower in Eurovision. It's been kicked out now. It's not allowed to take part as things stand. Going back to Ukraine, that was 2022. And the widespread belief was, Ukraine is going to get a huge televote, so it's going to absolutely walk Eurovision. Me, Mr. Clever Clogs here, knows that it's 50-50, juries and televote. And when Ukraine dropped to like an odds-on price to win, I was laying, because I thought, no. The juries are going to stop Ukraine winning this, because they don't want it to win for political reasons. And the EBU are very clever. I think, they virtually instruct the jurors, you have to score down, be it Ukraine, be it Israel. We can talk a little bit about Israel, because that's the latest situation. And actually, when the first 10 or so juries revealed their points, because it's the jury scores that we get first as well. So I thought there's scope for Ukraine to do badly with the first juries to reveal their points, and it will drift, and then I can back it. And it did do badly with the first 8 or 10 juries, maybe. And I thought, I've got this right. They've stitched Ukraine up. They can't win. They're going to score them so low on the jury vote. It doesn't matter about how big the televote is, because they can't win overall. And I backed when the Ukraine price drifted, but I didn't back to the point of making Ukraine a profitable result, because I thought it was going to drift more. I thought, the jury poor scores were going to continue. Suddenly, the jury scores started to improve for Ukraine, and then the price was rapidly shortening again. And it's like, oh no, it's too late. I've blown it. And of course, it got the biggest televote in the history of Eurovision and romped to victory. So, yeah, I lost on the winner market on Eurovision 2022. Occupational hazard. And, we've got this crazy situation where you've got Ukraine and Israel absolutely destroying the opposition in terms of the televote, inevitably. It's eased off a little bit with Ukraine, but even this year, Eurovision earlier this year, 2 semi-finals, they were decided by televote only. They didn't have the jurors in the semi-final. Israel won one of the semi-finals. Ukraine won the other semi-final. And then Israel got very, very close to winning the actual grand final. And the jurors scored Israel very, very, very low to make sure that it didn't win overall. But it came second. It was very, very close. And the EBU would have been sweating. So we've got a situation now where countries are threatening to pull out if Israel takes part next year. They've just recently come up with all of these changes. They're bringing the juries back for semi-finals. They're limiting it to 10 votes per person instead of 20. I mean, with Israel, it was running deep. They were running ads on social media, and it's all driven by the government. The broadcaster there, Can, is under pressure from the Israeli government, and they do everything within their means to try and get Israel to win. So I think they're going to let Israel back in next year, and it's going to be very interesting to see how many countries actually do pull out. And I think the EBU still has problems, moving forward.
Who knew that this was... who knew that we were going to open this particular can of worms on this episode of the podcast? Fintan, did you have any idea?
I had an inkling. Wow. And then if if a bunch of countries pull out, let's say you've backed Ireland, for example, and then Ireland pulls out, is there like in horse racing, is there like a no runner, no bet kind of refund, or what happens?
That's a very good question. I would presume that the Betfair market has been set up all in, run or not, which basically means if the country doesn't turn up and take part, you lose your money if you're a backer, and the layers collect. I just need to double check that because they have got the Eurovision 2026 market there.
Well, you don't need to check it now. Finton's just playing devil's advocate. He's trying to put the doubt in your mind.
No, it probably opens up opportunities.
I haven't traded a penny. No, I'm intrigued now. It's a great question. Rules. Let's have a look. Yes, all bets stand, run or not. So, yeah, if you back Ireland and Ireland doesn't take part, you're going to lose your money on Betfair. So
that's going to, like, getting in early could be it's an even riskier risk.
Yeah, unless you want to lay.
For lack of words.
It wouldn't have been a risk if Johnny Logan was still around, Fintan.
Well, so I'd heard a rumor about, and as a Eurovision expert, one of the reasons Ireland used to do so well is Ireland was the only country apart from the UK that was allowed to sing in English. We didn't have to do it in Irish, when traditionally everyone had to do it in their native language. So obviously, no offense, lads, the Brits aren't going to get the votes, but if everybody could understand the Irish, who were singing in English as like a second language, we were getting more of the votes than we normally would have, which is why when English became in, Ireland have traditionally done worse than historically. Any truth in that, or is my dad just winding me up?
They've still got the record for most wins, haven't they? Ireland, Sweden.
But it was all in a certain period.
It was
up until that language change.
Yeah, Bambi Thug did well a year or two ago. I think finished in the top six, maybe sixth. Yeah. Bambi Thug.
I think next year's entrant is. Aren't they sending Kneecap?
Are they sending? I can't see Kneecap.
That would be great.
Eurovision.
I love that.
But then, is it that we representing England or Ireland? That's the question. Northern Ireland. See, 2 cans of worms now. We're opening all the worms up now. Man. There's worms everywhere, lads. There's worms everywhere.
What have we done?
Oh.
But I've always said, Fintan, if you're not pissing anybody off, you're not independent.
There we go.
And what are we doing, Fintan?
Fiercely independent.
Pissing everybody off.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And in terms of, obviously, you've got into this X Factor, Strictly Come Dancing in the UK, which is, for the American listeners, I think it's Dancing with the Stars in America.
Yep.
Is there any new up and coming shows that lends itself well to gambling, or?
It's a good question. I mean, I know some people will invest in shows like Love Island. That's a no-no for me.
Is it because they're basically scripted, or where's the line? Or like, well, what are you looking for in a TV show where it's like, okay, I can back this?
Well, generally, I think it's a liquidity issue, and it's just trying to get the money down. And with that, there's so little liquidity with Love Island. I'm not even sure if Betfair had a Love Island winner market, and they've recently brought back Celebrity Big Brother, and they had the civilian Big Brother again. And well, I didn't really have the time or the inclination to cover that. I mean, it generally in this time of year, the autumn run, it's all about Strictly. A little bit of I'm a Celebrity, but it's not a favourite of mine. And Sports Personality of the Year, which is one that I trade sort of year long, and that'll happen in December, and then next year, actually, I do the awards as well, like Golden Globes and BAFTAs and everything leading up to the Oscars. We used to have Dancing on Ice, but that's gone. I think that finished this year, last ever series. but it's really all about Eurovision for me. Heavily focused on that.
Have you just think you mentioned Betfair Exchange quite a lot? We were literally just speaking to somebody about in America they've got the prediction markets, which are these kind of bet on everything markets. Have you looked at other exchanges where you could trade, or is it just Betfair? Because it feels like you could probably pick off the Americans when it comes to Eurovision gambling, right? Is there other markets you're looking at or to trade on, or is just Betfair is just this is what I use and it's the easiest?
Well, this was highlighted to me recently, funnily enough, by a Strictly trader, I think it was, who asked me the same question. Because there's huge liquidity, isn't there, on
Yeah.
whatever it is, whatever the platform is there. I've forgotten the name of it.
There's Kalshi, there's Polymarket,
Polymarket.
There's loads more coming. Right?
Polymarket was the one that was mentioned, but I think the issue there is that you can't trade on it as somebody. I live in England, and I don't think you can trade on the Polymarket. Can you, as a based in
That's
England?
a good point.
Unfortunately, otherwise I would be all over it. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure if you had a VPN, sure it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
All right, there's 3 cans of worms.
Of course, yeah, that did occur to me, but I'd be worried about the T's and C's of whatever.
Yeah, getting your money back.
Yeah,
for sure.
Bit risky.
Sure. But if you had a friend in America,
okay, yeah,
or something like that, because there's Polymarket, but there's also Kalshi in America. Polymarket's about to launch in America. They were the original ones. Kalshi's live right now. But I reckon if you teamed up with somebody in like California or something like that, you could probably have a good thing going.
I know it's Dancing with the Stars final tonight, actually.
I'm not sure Rob should be being led astray while he's appearing on the podcast.
Look, there's probably a Eurovision arbitrage available between the different markets. I don't know how
definitely.
Maybe there is. Have you got any plans for another book?
I've been asked that, John, by a good few other people, and I did start to wonder if there might be a sort of a sequel in the Gambler. I suppose we need to see how well the Gambler does. I mean, I think there's 2 reporting times. I'll get the first crop report at the end of the year. How sales are going, and then obviously one end of June. So they do it like that. But yeah, I mean, I think for me to do a sort of a Gambler part 2, I quite like the idea of that. But yeah, we'll have to see. How well the Gambler goes down. I mean, of course, the dream for me is like a streaming service. One of the streaming services coming along and saying they'd like to adapt the Gambler into a comedy drama series, because I think it's got the ingredients for that.
Yep.
Perfect. Can me and John be extras?
Definitely. Yeah.
Finch, I thought you were going to say executive producers.
Oh, sorry.
When you got
we only want blue M&Ms.
When you got the X out of your mouth, I'm like, oh, executive producers? No. Extras, fuck's sake. Aim high, Fintan.
We could be like the Icelandic act or something, John. We could maybe we could ham this up a bit. Like we've got the look. We could be Icelandic.
Okay, I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
And the camera keeps cutting back to the Icelandic duo who are slaying it in the studio. And there's Rob behind the settee going, fucking die!
Like when they're all doing like the votes and stuff coming in, they're all in their little pods. And we're just like slamming shots, snorting drugs, just partying out like our lives.
Yeah, every time the camera comes to us, we've got more white around our nose.
Like, oh my God.
I love this.
Back on, that kind of thing. Yeah, we're up for this. We're in.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna hold out for the executive producer credit, but I'll do it.
We'll show up in our own leathers and everything. It'll be brilliant. Bring our own costumes.
I'll bring my own moustache.
start growing it now.
I'll even grow my fringe out for that.
Too funny.
Rob, yeah, so we're announcing the long list shortly for the Gambling Book Awards. Not going to tell you if you're on it. Not going to tell you if you're on the shortlist. Not going to tell you anything. Just going to say, we might see you in Barcelona, we might not.
Yeah.
Okay. You really need to sort this bit of the script out, John. This almost feels really brutal.
Script. No, but serious. But the one thing that we've found with these awards is that the quality of submissions has been extraordinarily good, and I really mean extraordinarily good. Like, there's not a duff book in there, which has shocked the shit out of me, because I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be 50% Drek. No, there's no Drek at all. There's fiction, there's non-fiction, there's pro, there's anti, and they're all really worthy of being in there. So it's like we've now got what I thought would be a relatively easy job, and it's going to be horrible.
Yeah, tough luck to our jury.
We're on it, you fucker.
I know, but we've got experts on our jury. It's not just us making the decisions. We've got
No, that's lucky as well. Because you'd be like, which one can we get on in the background of if it's adapted? That would be your criteria for winning. Be like, they're going to make a film of this one? Yeah, this one gets my vote. I fucking see through you.
If we become the extra in like 4 Netflix series, that would just be perfect.
That's like, do you know what? This could be like, I could start some kind of weird who is this fucker internet phenomenon. Because for many years when I was traveling to Macau to go to G2E Asia, I had this little hobby, right? So I'd have to walk right the way through the Venetian complex, which is massive. I mean, it took me nearly 45, and I don't walk slowly. It took me nearly 45 minutes to walk from my hotel room.
Really short legs there.
I have got really short legs. But it took me nearly 45 minutes to walk from my hotel room to where the expo was, and they were in the same complex. Right? Didn't go outside, 45 fucking minutes. But there were these indoor canals, right? It's Macau, and it's full of Chinese people. And they would all stop by the indoor canals and take photos of themselves or of each other. And I photobombed probably over the years I was in Asia, in Macau. I've probably photobombed several hundred people. And it's not an exaggeration. I might be lowballing it there. It could be as many as 1,000. I was probably hitting 15 people a day. Every day I was there. Every year I visited. It was my thing. It was my hobby. I loved it. So I think if we can get in the background of 4 or 5 of these things, people are going to be like, he looks familiar.
These guys. So you're saying, like, if by casting John, you then create like this Chinese internet meme of its, fountain casino man on TV.
It opens the Asian market.
That's all any Netflix producer wants to hear. Does this open Asia to us? I like it.
And as elevator pitches go, I mean, it does stink as an elevator pitch, but I think this has got legs. So, Rob, if anybody does contact you, just bear that in mind, that we could go big in Asia.
I've already made a note.
Never talk to these fucking idiots again.
Most email publisher.
Do not answer.
You get an email from the publisher. How did it go, Rob? You go, fuck. Don't fucking talk to me. Take him a next book to the Sun. But anyway, no, Rob, best of luck with it.
Thanks,
and I hope the book does really, really well. It's
Thank you.
It's unique. How many books can you say that about? Honestly, it's unique. And I hope it does really, really well. And like I say, maybe we'll see you in Barcelona. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I literally don't know.
Every time you say it, it just sounds worse. It's like, stop.
I'm trying to make it positive, Fintan. Fucking hell.
It doesn't feel positive. It feels like a threat somehow.
It's not like I'm saying, I hope I see you in the oncology ward. It's not like that.
Oh, dear God.
Fucking hell. Anyway, look, Rob, maybe I'll see you.
Stop.
Oh, you made me snort. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Gambling Files podcast, please find us on LinkedIn. Give us a big, juicy, succulent like. That nearly went wrong. You can find us under the name The Gambling Files Podcast. You can find us on Twitter under The Gambling Files. I think the handle is just @GamblingFiles. You can connect to myself, Jon Bruford, or Fintan Costello, also on LinkedIn. We're also both on Twitter. And you can find all of our previous episodes at www.thegamblingfiles.com. If you enjoyed it, please share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your colleagues, and we'll see you next time.